Brought to you by How's That? First game free. Download the app now.
I think, given the the change in all formats of cricket and the effect of T20 cricket since 2003 to 2004, I think it's extremely important because to be at the forefront of any trends or change in the game, I think they're driven by shorter formats. So for a player to be able to play in shorter formats, I think is essential for their development and also to stay relevant with exactly what is going on in the game. I think every team is different, and leading any group of men is obviously depends on the personalities within the side, depends on the goals that you've set out as a team. But I think a couple of things that you have to be able to achieve is to be able to deliver a clear message, to be able to communicate that goal within the side, and then to be able to show an ability to drive towards that goal, and collectively then as a group trying to achieve that goal. I think they're obviously very important things within any cricket team. Here, I think both have different challenges. I think when you talk about leading your country, it's normally over a longer period of time. You build longer and stronger bonds and relationships with players over the couple of years, maybe towards leading into a World Cup or a Champions Trophy or maybe a big Test match series. Whereas coming into any franchise team and league over the period, however short or long it is, you're trying to achieve that collective goal, but trying to work with what you have at the time. So I suppose in franchise cricket, there are as many challenges, just different ones than you come up against in international cricket. Yeah, I think it'll be huge. Brav is one of the most experienced T20 cricketers in the world, if not the most. You think of how long he's been around, how many games he's played, wickets he's taken, but the biggest factor he brings is that he's a winner. He's won most competitions around the world. He's obviously won the T20 World Cup as well. So he's going to be essential in hopefully achieving success this championship. I think there is a little bit of a formula. I think one of the toughest things to achieve is actually getting out of the group stages. Every team comes in with great energy, great ambition, trying to achieve the same thing, but making it a priority to get out of that group stage start, regardless of if you don't turn up and produce your best on the day, doing what you can still to try and win that game is essential in group stages, because I think if you can achieve that and get to latter stages with experienced guys like Brad, myself, Adil Shields a little bit more weight later in the tournament. But if you don't get to that latter stage, your experience almost isn't counted then. I actually think the pitches have been good. We obviously played a lot during the IPL, the T20 World Cup. We played a semi-final at that ground as well. And the last time I played the T10 at the stadium, the pitches were very, very similar to the condition that they are now. So they're doing a hell of an effort to be able to still produce good pitches that don't take anything away from the game. They're not drastically turning. the ball skidding on. Actually, in the semi-final, the ball swung a lot. So maybe we'll see a little bit of that this tournament. Yeah, I think with T10 still in its infancy, I don't think we've seen the impact or the knock-on effect yet. I think as T20 still continues to test the boundaries, I think new innovations will start that have started in T10. Yeah, I do. I think in all short format games, bowlers are key. And I think, the trend more recently in T20 cricket is that wrist spinners have been the most effective when it comes to taking wickets. And I think that will be the same throughout the T10 tournament. I think anybody that can move the ball off the straight and can have variations, which, wrist spinners do, I think they'll cause most issues. Oh, it's way more. It's, I mean, you go in and you start your innings in T10. If you face two dot balls, you almost feel like you need to hit a boundary straight away because, in a game that's so short, you have to just come in and make an impact. There's no time to ease your way into a game. So you have to have that aggressive mindset from the start, and be on top of your game, obviously. Yeah, it was brilliant. It was in its first year that it happened in Sharjah, and we loved it. Everybody wasn't sure where the tournament would go and what it could achieve, how entertaining it would be, but it was brilliant. It was so much fun. There was obviously huge support at the time, and where the tournament is at now, it's obviously grown hugely, and obviously with the support of the Abu Dhabi Sports Council and Abu Dhabi Cricket, it's been great to see it grow into this tournament that most guys want to play in. Simply, if they can fit it in the international schedule, they will. And I think the timing of it being played after the T20 World Cup presents that opportunity for a lot of really strong international players to go and play in T10. Yeah. So it actually happened after a tour to New Zealand. I remember flying in from the tour, and going straight into the tournament. Obviously, playing with a new team, you want to do well. We didn't do that well that particular year, but you could see the quality of players that we had. It's just that we didn't perform as well as we would have liked. Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm not actually sure, because I'm always trying to think of new ideas of how to try and grow our game even bigger. And the Olympics is obviously a huge opportunity to do that. But I ever since I've played T10, I really like how short it is, how entertaining it is, and how it's sort of eye-catching entertainment, because I'm a huge fan. All my family and friends are. They sit there and they'll watch T10 for an hour, then they'll go out, they'll come back, there'll be another game on the same day. So they'll sit down, they'll watch, they'll come out, they go back. So it's very fan friendly. And if you're looking to sell our game to people that just haven't watched cricket before, I think it's a really flexible way of doing it. And then obviously, once you lure a fan in, then you can introduce them to different formats. But I haven't found a better way than T10, for a format to play in the Olympics. Yeah, I think how you process things and understand them is obviously an important part of moving on from any particular loss. But I think a good example of how difficult it is actually the IPL campaign this year that I was part of at KKR. At the beginning of the year, we played 7 games. We won 2 out of 7. We weren't performing well. We struggled as a team. And then COVID hit. We all flew home. 6 months later, we come together in the UAE for another campaign, and we go the whole way to the championship final. I mean, got guys coming back with, you know, a refreshed mind, sense of drive, ambition, and a better understanding of what they were trying to do is way more powerful than trying to wrestle back momentum within a tournament, because a lot of it's to do with confidence. A lot of it is to do with feeling comfortable within your own team. But when it's going against you, it's so difficult to wrestle back in that particular moment in time. I really like, for new challenge, I suppose, the backstage planning and strategy of how we're going to move forward as a team. But I think that, you know, the biggest compliment to myself and the team at the moment is, you know, during our summer, we had an outbreak of COVID, and 15 of the squad went into isolation, and we had to pick a brand new squad that came in, and not only they performed unbelievably well against a full strength Pakistan side, but they came out and played the brand of cricket that we play. And I can remember sitting with my wife watching these games and calling Joss Butler and other guys and just saying, geez, this is amazing. This is great to watch. This must be what it's like watching us. You know, they're taking the game on. It doesn't matter what name is on the back of their shirt. They're still playing the brand of cricket that will win games of cricket and win tournaments. So I think that is the biggest compliment to our whole team. What they've achieved over the last 6 years has been brilliant. And I think on top of that, I think a knock-on effect is you obviously create more expectation around the team in what you want to achieve, and you now go into tournaments as favourites or second favourites, and that's where we want to be. For years and years in my career playing for England, you would go into particularly a short format tournament as an afterthought. And even the 2010 T20 World Cup that we won in the West Indies, we were a complete afterthought in that tournament. And everyone since then, until we played in the Champions Trophy in 2017, we've been favourites. And it's a tag that we like. We'd much rather be favourites, because if we're favourites, we know we have a chance of winning. It's not just false hope or false anticipation. So I think those two things are huge compliments to what we've achieved as a group. Yeah, I was watching on. I was actually in Australia at the time. It was around about Christmas, New Year time, actually, wasn't it? Last year.
Yeah.
And I remember watching on because a lot of my friends still play in the tournament. And again, it's brilliant. You could come and go, watch games, follow it. It's actually, so I compare it to NFL, so I enjoy watching American football, and the whole of Sunday is full of NFL games, and then it goes into Monday. And T10 is like that. Every day full of games, and you can flick it on, flick it off, go out, keep an eye on your phone, keep an eye on the score, come back. So for a young kid coming through that likes, I don't know, maybe just following games or fantasy cricket or whatever they might be doing, it's getting them involved in the game. So yeah, I obviously missed last year, so hopefully to making up for it this year. Yeah, I think that's a good question. At the moment, I can't see one. I think it'll have to do with conditions. If conditions change drastically or continue to be the same, I think if they continue to be the same, the best side will go on and win the tournament. I think if they change, the side that wins it will be the side that adapted the best. So I'm not sure what that trend will be. I think the first few days are going to be obviously very important in keeping an eye on what teams are doing and how they're approaching games. So we'll be doing that. Absolutely. I think we have a really strong team. I think obviously missing Jason Roy does hurt us. but we've a really strong team with plenty of potential.